There is an update available for the Mercedes GLC. On board now, new engines, new driver assistance and safety systems, and for me more important, a new top version, the GLC 63S. And today we talk about what is really new and of course how about this one is driving. Of course you don't have to argue about materials and craftsmanship in an AMG model, but we do find all these nice materials like leather, like soft touch, like everything you want. And there is a little thing that you have to know, because with this AMG version you do have stitching, yellow stitching here on the dashboard, at the steering wheel and on these sport seats. And normally I would say yellow inside of a car, it's absolutely not my cup of tea, but I have to say with that car, the whole look, that gives you the extra, let's say, look of sportiness. Next to me now is Michael Christoph from Product Marketing. Michael, I have a question. You really gave the car, the GLC, a real update, but what happened in detail?
Well, actually the GLC is the most successful Mercedes-Benz SUV, and it's also segment leader, so it's a very successful design, but nevertheless we did a redefined design for the facelift. So for the base model it looks a little bit off-roadier, I would say, and for the AMG line looks even sportier than before. So we made new bumpers, a new grille which looks more bold, and we also have new headlights with a slimmer design, and we also did a technical update, so meaning we now have full LED high performance headlights as standard, also full LED taillights, and we offer an option which is called multi-beam LEDs with 84 single LEDs on each side, so a very advanced light system.
And how about the drivetrains?
The new 4-cylinder diesel engine called OM654 with up to 180 kilowatt, 245 horsepower and 500 Newton meters, and this engine meets the strictest level of emission standards, the EU6D this EU6D standard. And furthermore, also the gasoline engines have an update. We have the new engine that's called M264 with up to 190 kilowatt and a twin scroll turbocharger. And we have on board the so-called EQ Boost technology, which is basically a 48-volt technology on board in combination with a belt-driven starter generator, which has on one side an improvement when it comes to acceleration, because we have 10 kilowatt electric power, 150 Newton meter electric torque, but it also supports a combustion engine when it comes to coasting functions, meaning we also have a reduced fuel consumption with that technology on board.
When we talk about the technology inside of the car, we have to talk about infotainment and we have to talk about driver assistance safety system. What happens there?
Yeah, now we have the latest technology on board when it comes to driver assistance systems, like we have it in the S-Class, also in the C-Class. And we have the latest infotainment system on board, which is called MBUX, with the advanced voice control, the Hey Mercedes. And I think that we really updated the complete GLC, but also the GLC Coupe.
Inside of my AMG, I do have two different screens. One is about 12-inch full digital cockpit here, and the other one is a touchscreen here at the center console. And the good thing with that is it delivers me all the features of MBUX. So I have the whole modern infotainment with all these extra features on board. But more important for me is the full digital cockpit, because that offers, like with the other cars, different display modes, but it also features a special AMG mode. And that is very nice because I have a big ref meter in the middle. I do know exactly what kind of gear I'm using at the moment, and I do see my actual speed. And on top of this, I get informations like oil pressure, informations like tire pressure, and all the stuff you may want to know, want to be aware about when you drive a sports car, sporty. The seats of the AMG version are an absolute pleasure because they offer loads and loads of support, and they still offer enough comfort. And the good thing is you can adjust them the way you want, because you can even make them more stiff or less stiff, more narrow or less narrow, so you really always sit in the car perfectly. The only downside of these seats are these integrated headrests. Of course they look like they should, they are very comfortable, but for a tall person like me with nearly 2 meters, they are a bit too short. And that's a bit of a downside when we talk about these, I would say, perfect seats in that car. Our AMG model does feature an air suspension, and so of course I can use different drive modes with that car, and they do make a great job when I drive a standard road, standard speed. That's really pure fun, and I'm quite sure even on the racetrack they work perfectly. But when you drive this car with this stiff suspension here inside of a road, maybe on a road where you're only allowed to drive 30 kilometers per hour like I do at the moment, you do really feel every single bump, every single stone on the road. And I think it must be possible to give the car an extra, let's say, super soft mode, maybe only until the maximum speed of 50 kilometers per hour if you want it, because that would really be an extra regarding to comfort. But yeah, that's the only thing I can complain about regarding to the suspension at the moment. So now I take the GLC 300D off-road. And important with our cars is they do feature the so-called off-road technology package, which costs you about 700 euros here in Germany. And that provides you with an off-road drive mode, which is, let's say, for slippery grounds. And on top, you're gonna get an off-road plus mode. This is more for climbing up the hills, going downhill and all that stuff. And important is, with this package, you also get an extra underride protection for the car. But now I think we're gonna find out what that car can deliver on these grounds. So now let's drive uphill, and the GLC can cope up to 70%. So now we go downhill, and the good thing here is the camera system, because of the front camera I can see where the car goes, even in situations where I can't see anything. So now we really go uphill to the maximum, 60 to 64%. The GLC does not feature a real reduction system, but it does simulate this through the other systems, which means you have a very precise braking point, you have a very nice soft working gas pedal, and the steering is a bit softer. So that means that I can really drive the car off-road very easy and very precise. So now we really do drive off-road, and what really works well here is that the car offers, with the air suspension, a ground clearance of up to 245 mil, and that really makes driving here very smooth and easy. And so I think this really is a lot for a SUV. There are new 4-cylinder engines, diesel and petrol, available for the new GLC, and they deliver a power range between 163 up to 258 horsepower. And more important is, for me, there is the new AMG version with the GLC 63S, and that one is featuring a 4-liter V8 engine, and that delivers 375 kilowatts or 510 horsepower and a maximum torque of 700 Newton meters. And that is enough to accelerate that car in less than 4 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. But what else makes that car a real AMG? Let's talk about that with someone from AMG. So next to me now is Drummond Chekoy from the development department of AMG. Drummond, I think you did a lot to make the new GLC AMG version a real AMG, but what have you done in detail?
Yeah, Lars, this is the world record holder in its segment for the Nürburgring Nordschleife. We clocked a 7:49 there, and basically we've stuck to our drivetrain that performed this successfully. In the front we have our 4-liter V8 twin turbo, and then we have a fully variable all-wheel drive system, 4MATIC Plus, and then now in the rear end we have an electronically operated differential lock, and we now add that to all of the 63 versions. To mastermind all of these new systems we have in there, we use AMG Dynamics now in this version.
When we talk about being the driver, sitting in the driver's seat, is there any special feature or any special look that tells me, yes, you drive the AMG?
Well, the big new look in the base vehicle is MBUX and the new digital screens, and we utilize that at AMG to its full possibilities. We have added on screens, specific AMG screens, and we have also, for example, integrated our track pace system, our logging system for racecourse use.
Aside of the very nice noise of the V8 4-liter bi-turbo engine, that car offers is the combination out of steering, suspension and transmission. So the whole package really is absolutely fabulous. So you have a 110% precise steering with that car, so direct, so precise. You have a super suspension. The car always feels like glued to the road, and you do have a transmission which switches gears like that. And this whole package really makes the car an absolute pleasure to drive. And the only thing I would ask for at the moment is to have that car for myself on a racetrack or a closed road to really find out what that car can deliver if I give it full throttle. Of course, the GLC AMG offers different drive modes as all the other AMG models does. But with this car here, when you switch from comfort to sport or sport plus, or maybe later to race, these are real steps. And the good thing here is it is not only the steering that gets a bit stiffer, or the suspension or the engine is more, let's say, aggressive. Also, I think the brakes are more precise, more like yes now. And that a good thing with that one is that really gives you the impression of really having the opportunity to set up the car especially and exactly for whatever drive mode you want to use at the moment. Let's talk about the space of the car and the seating position. I have to say, for me as a tall person, that really is very nice. I sit perfectly inside of the car. I have the steering wheel exactly at that position where I want it, to have the car under perfect control, and very important for a person of nearly 2 meters height, I have head space left, plenty of it. We have to be honest, we do not have a sunroof in the car, but as it is at the moment, that's the perfect working environment, let's say it that way, for a tall person like me. That was my first test drive with a brand new top model of the new GLC, which is in my case the Mercedes-AMG GLC 63S. And of course, each and every one of us wants to drive such a beautiful car because we have loads of power, we have everything you can ask for regarding to the equipment in the car, and we do have a beautiful exterior. But even the standard new GLC got brand new, very interesting stuff, like very new engines which offer better consumption and more power. We do have more driver assistance and safety systems on board, and very important, we do have the new infotainment system MBUX as well. So the new GLC really is more comfortable, more sustainable, and more modern than its predecessor. But when we talk about that one, normally you can't complain about a car like this, but I have two little things. One is the integrated headrest of these sports seats here is fine and comfortable, but for tall people like me, a bit too short. And on the other hand, I think more important is the drive regarding to the suspension in cities. So when you drive very slowly in cities, you do feel each and every little single stone because of the stiff suspension. I think with an air suspension on board, it should be possible to have a bit more comfort if you want it. But maybe on the other hand, that's only complaining on extremely high levels.